Hello, it's Mark here from Set My Site, and in this video I'm going to show you how to resize your images so that they're appropriate for the web. And the reason why we want to resize our images is because images, when they come out of our phones, or even if we download them from a stock photo website, they're large images. And the larger the image, the slower your website is going to load. So we need to reduce the image size and reduce the file size of the image in order to upload it so that it's an appropriate size for the web to ensure it doesn't slow down your website. So let's go check it out. Also, I'm assuming that you're not having any kind of photo editing software installed on your computer. So this video tutorial is going to not use any Photoshop or anything like that. It's simply assuming that you don't have anything like that or access to any of those tools. So everything's going to be done via the web. So what we're going to do is go to a website called Pixlr.com. Pixlr.com. Once you arrive at the website, you're going to scroll down until you see an option that says Pixlr Express. Click on Launch Web App to launch the application. And it might not pull up for you right away as it has for me. You need to ensure that your browser has Flash enabled. So if you click on here, you can see it says, do you want to allow Adobe Flash? Remember, allow. I'm allowing my browser to run Adobe Flash. So if you don't see the options here pop up right away, you just see a gray screen or something like that, it's because you don't have Flash enabled. So you gotta make sure that you enable Flash on this web browser in order to use this application. So once I'm there, I'm gonna click on Browse to select a photo from my computer. I'm going to just select any kind of photo. Let's just take this one here, for example. Just want to make sure it's big enough. So once you've selected the photo, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Adjustment, and you're going to go to Resize. And once you're in Resize mode, you'll see the original width and the original height of that photo. So as you can see, we're dealing with a photo that's 3,360 pixels wide and 2,300 pixels high. That's way too big for the web. In most cases, we're never going to need an image that's larger than 1,920 pixels wide, 1920. That's the pixelation that we're aiming for at a maximum. So if you're going to use this photo, let's say as a main backdrop on your entire site, or it's going to go in the photo gallery, which is stretched out on your site from left to right, or it's going to be a background image, an important integral image, part of your website, then you can resize it to 1920, and that's a maximum. So 1920, and that will resize it to 1921 by 1358. And you can click Apply in order to complete your resize. Now, that's only for images that are very important, that are focal point images throughout the website, background images on your website, things like that. If it's an image that's going to go into a photo gallery, it doesn't need to be quite that big. In fact, we normally recommend for an image that's going to be in a photo gallery to bring it down to between 800 and 1,000 pixels wide. If you're doing a lot of images within that photo gallery, then you're going to want to use 800 because that's going to lower the amount of images that need to be loaded on your website as it serves your site to your users. So we want to keep that down to about 800. Otherwise, if you only have maybe 30 or 40 images on the photo gallery, 1,000 is fine. And you can even do up to 1,200 if you only have, let's say, 10 or 15 photos. It's not that big of a deal. So generally, the rule is the larger the image pixelation here, the slower the load. So we want to reduce that image pixelation as much as we can without getting too small, right? So it's kind of a balancing act. So let's say, just for the sake of example, we're just going to resize this to about 1,000 pixels wide for our photo gallery here. I'm going to click on Apply, and it's resized the image for me. That's it. I'm done. At this point, I just have to save my image. Now, there is one more step once you go to save, though, and we're going to look at that right now. So I click on Save, and there's this option called Quality, right? Now, if you have a large image at 100% quality, what you're going to find is that the image size becomes huge. Right? This is 1,035 kilobytes large. So it's a very large image. It's much larger than we need. So if you just reduce down to about 90% you're going to notice that the image gets significantly, the image size gets significantly smaller with just a 10% reduction in quality. And that's totally fine because that 10% reduction in quality is not detectable to the human eye in 99.9% of cases. So you can just reduce to 90 and you've already got 262 kilobytes. So that's okay, but I actually like to get my image size smaller, if file size smaller, because I like to generally get to about 150 kilobytes if I can, because I don't want to upload images that are going to be very big files, because in addition to the pixelation size, I mean, the pixelation reduction is really to reduce the file size. Really, ultimately, what we're trying to do here is reduce the size of the file so that we can upload it and it's not a very large file. And so I like to get this down to about 150. So I generally play with the quality and go down, let's try 80. So we're about 172. So we're getting close. Okay, we're very close now. And so about 77%. And I promise you the end result is going to be, you're not even going to be able to tell the difference between the original image and the new image that's at 77% quality. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on save. And I'll just save that to the desktop here. And then I've saved my new image size. And so now you've got your new image size and you've resized so that it's a small file size and you're pretty much ready to go. And that's it. That's the end of this tutorial. I hope this was helpful.